Hello everybody! Today we're starting our first ever trip to the Relica asteroid with the Prehistoric DLC and oxygen not included. We are starting with a very simple goal. In one episode, we need oxygen, bathrooms, beds, and a working food plan while an imminent Demolior asteroid impact hangs over the colony. I have poked my head in just enough to know that I don't know anything about this asteroid. We don't have any optimized strategies. We'll be figuring things out as we go. What we do have is entirely new fauna and flora, including several dinosaurs, and a very real chance of us ending with mass extinction. Let's see just how long we can survive in the Prehistoric Planet Pack DLC. So after a few cycles, the colony is standing and doing mostly well. Oxygen is flowing. Duplicants are busy. We've survived our first few days, but there's still a lot that we don't know about this asteroid. Even when things look calm, there's chaos around every corner. We haven't even started on getting food yet. Our duplicants are still just surviving on the emergency rations that we got at the beginning and whatever they can forage for. I mean, just look at these dinosaurs wandering around our colony. This could get very interesting. Our basic systems are working for now. Oxygen is stable, everyone has a place to sleep, and at least they're not starving yet. But it's not going to stay this way forever. This is just a calm moment before the storm. Soon, we'll have to figure out food, expand the colony, and deal with whatever else this asteroid's going to throw at us. But for now, during this moment of quiet, let's go back and see how we got here. So what brought us here is that after my long playthrough on the base game, I've been itching to dive into some of the new items, especially with the Prehistoric Planet Pack DLC. I have some other big projects and tutorials that are coming too, don't worry. But first, I just wanted to jump straight into exploring just the Prehistoric Planet Pack. We're going to start a new map, and we're going to do survival in the spaced out style, and we're going to select the Relica Minor asteroid type. As far as DLCs, I'm going to leave the Frosty Planet Pack and the Bionic Booster Pack off for now. I do want to do a big playthrough where I have all the DLCs, and maybe I'll do some where I do just those, just to play around with them as well. But for now, I just want to focus on the Prehistoric Pack. As far as story traits, just to note, you can do all 6 now, they said in the patch notes, but it makes things unstable, which means the world gen may fail. So what I've decided to do is I'm taking everything off except for the Prehistoric, because I want to focus on new stuff in this pack. So Prehistoric came out just recently. Prehistoric Pack is the newest DLC. That's what we're going to do. I'm also re-rolling the map briefly, not going too crazy. I just want to have Geo active and some other ones that look kind of fun. I don't want to have anything too negative to deal with because this playthrough is about learning the Prehistoric Pack. Plenty of time for me to be a tryhard and do achievement runs and things like that later. For now, I just want to play around and see how this run goes. I'm going to keep it manageable, but still interesting. Along those lines, I'm keeping the duplicants simple too. I just picked a digger, a researcher, and an operator. Pretty simple things I thought we could use. And mostly I just wanted to make sure the negative traits weren't anything terrible. So all of these are pretty good, and we're going to go ahead and just jump in with these and get started. We do have a different alert that says that my collision monitoring system has detected an imminent threat to our survival. Huge impactor asteroid is hurtling directly at this planet. We must make our way to the surface and mount a defense in time to destroy the incoming asteroid before it destroys us. Sounds like it's going to be fun. The first few cycles in any colony are always a bit standard, no matter which asteroid you pick. Setting up a latrine and barracks so the duplicants don't pee or sleep on the floors, that's always the top priority. We also need to lay down some groundwork for priorities, schedules, and skills for later on. And of course, there's that obligatory moment where you miscalculate building your water tank and you have to clean up after your mess. Next comes basic power, oxygen, and research stations so we can move on to the next steps. These starter tasks might feel repetitive, but they're vital for the colony's survival. Now we can get into what really sets the Prehistoric DLC apart. The world feels alive and a little bit unpredictable. The flora and fauna are on a whole new scale. Dinosaurs are much larger critters. They need more space to tame and come with all new critter mechanics for us to learn. New plants require us to use pollination. Some even are plants that turn into critters themselves to make the pollination happen. And there are vines that can spread much farther than you expect that they would if you're not careful. These are the kind of surprises that make exploring the Relica asteroid so exciting, and there's still so much more to discover. So here's how the early colony really comes together. Cots are in place. The barracks can hold everyone comfortably. We have room to expand for more. The latrine is ready with wash basins and outhouses. We have schedules so the duplicants won't overload them. These early layout decisions might seem small, but they make a huge difference later. And they show how priorities, schedules, and skills start to shape the colony from day one. That brings us back to the present. Colony is standing, mostly. Now the time has come for us to tackle food, which means exploring and starting to find out a plan to tackle the Relica asteroid. Well, guys, we're getting settled in. Things are set up. I always kind of struggle at the beginning of a new series how to make it interesting because it is kind of the same thing every time. And so I tried to do a little bit of more scripted stuff this time. I'm going to do a mix of that and a little mix of me just kind of riffing while I do some stuff. There's a lot in this playthrough I'm going to have to be figuring out as I go along. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. We got to focus on food. We're not doing an achievement run thing here, so we can do planting. We can just jump straight into farming, which is great. It's a little less stressful. Trying to do the achievement runs is always kind of like, I got to rush to get the carnivore done and get this locavore done. And this time I'm not doing that, so kind of take my time and just look around and enjoy what's around because I've never played with the Prehistoric Pack, and I want to. So the big key here, I think, is going to be figuring out these critters and these plants so that we can use them. Hey, we got a new duplicant coming in. Let's do that together quick. I don't want to go too crazy with dupes, but if I find some that are good, I'll bring them in. I don't like decreased science ever, or noodle arms ever. So really the only option here is Catalina, and she looks all right. A few positive traits. Extra digging is great right now. Decreased husbandry is fine. I don't know that I'm even going to get into too much critters at first, so let's just bring her in. So first thing I always do when I bring in a new dupe is I grab another cot and expand out my barracks a little bit so that we're ready for the next one. I don't want to go too crazy. Right now I'm just relying on whatever food I can find. We're going to work quickly to fix that, but for right now, that's all I got. So I put a ladder going up and down kind of in the middle here in the starter biome, so I can just kind of explore out and see the map a little better. I can see we already have a volcano over here, which will be awesome later on, but for now it's not going to do me much good. I can see that there's other critters down here. I don't know much about any of these guys, so they're going to be stuff we figure out slowly. For now, I'm focusing on the ones that are in the starter biome. So I know the Mimicas a little bit. They, pollinate, and I know how they work a little bit. I know the Snactus is like our starter food. It's not going to last forever. Maybe till cycle 10, if we're lucky. Our research just finished up. I think I want to focus on kind of researching the stuff that's new for the DLC. So for now, I'm going to go to the peat burner because we're not worrying about super sustainable either, so I can use that for some power if I want to. And that's just a quick early research. I can work on that while I get the supercomputer put in. Big plan is just to kind of explore out, find everything. But back to the plants, I also know, I don't know if it's sweet corn or sweat corn. It's spelled sweat corn, but I'm going to call it sweet corn because that's kind of weird. The sweat corn or sweet corn is a plant that needs to be pollinated, and these mimicas are the ones that do that. It produces, I forget what they're called already. It's just sweet corn. So the sweet corn can then be eaten, or we can use it to smoke it and get these veggie poppers, which is a much better way to do it. So in the long term, that's what I want to do. For now, we can at least get some planted, get some food coming in, that kind of stuff. So that's part of our plan. We also going to have these lums. I'm not going to worry about domesticating them just yet. I'm going to get them where I want them so that we can set them up with some overgrow vines. If I can find one, I have one up here. So these things spread out, and then they have overgrow figs, I think is what they're called, on them. And then these guys, as far as I understand, they can like stomp the ground and knock them off, so we don't even have to harvest them, and then they can eat them, and that's what keeps them going. And then they'll give us peat, like a renewable source of it. There's plenty of peat on the map too, so when we dig out the starter biome, we'll have plenty to start with. We're going to use that peat for power. We're going to use that peat in the smoker to make the veggie poppers. So it's going to be important. It's going to be a thing we need to do. So as we're exploring, I'm going to also get set up with doing... oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put our new duplicate on a schedule, which is important. So she's on her break right now. We're going to put her on schedule 4 anyway. That's where she would be. She'll get in line to the work schedule soon enough. No problem. But let's check out her skill point. I do need somebody into research, but I don't need him there yet. So I'm going to give her hard digging because that's where we're going to keep her, get her a helmet. That way we can dig around a little bit. I don't want to go too far outside the starter biome, but you know, being able to cut a tile here or there is always helpful. So we're going to continue on with the exploring, and I'm going to start figuring out where I want to set up my first farm. We're going to do a couple different things with the farming. I want to kind of primarily observe what's going on, but I also want to get some farm plots down so that I can, you know, survive. I got to figure out how the mimicas work. I think that one of them will be able to, once we domesticate them, we'll be able to use one to keep a bunch of sweet corn going. Because when they're wild, it takes 20 cycles, but once we domesticate them, it's going to take 5 cycles, and that's going to need us to get dirt, but we have plenty of dirt around, I think. Yeah, we have a bunch, so we'll be all right. And then we'll figure out a way to renew dirt later on if it becomes important. But we'll get those planted in the domesticated ones so that we can keep these guys easily repopulated. So basically, these guys hatch out of a mimica bud every 5 cycles if they're domestic, and then they last for 5 cycles. So if they're domesticated, I think we just need one of these, and I'll constantly have one of these flying around. We may need 2 because we don't want to ever have a time where they've passed on and these haven't hatched yet. But we'll see how that goes. For now, there's 2 of them in here, and they're keeping these going, so it's working there. And then we'll figure out. I'm going to set up 2 farms, one with maybe 5 and one with 10 of the stalks. That way we can see if one mimica can keep up with how many plants, and then we'll just play around with it. I can always look it up, but it's more fun to play around and learn. So yeah, so that's what we're going to work on. I'm going to work on figuring out where I'm going to place that, and like I said, they're going to be digging around here to explore down so we can see everything. Looks like we're starting with a ton of water, so we don't have any too big problems there. Some brine mixed in up here, kind of annoying, but it'll be useful if I decide I want to do a hydra. At least I know I have 2 different types of liquid to start. So a lot of good things, We're going to just let things keep going, and we'll figure out the next step. We've been making really great progress with both our research and our exploration. Having our research stations next to the printing pod, I cannot over exaggerate how much that is helpful. That lit workspace bonus, combined with her extra science, makes Lindsay fly through it. She's already gotten her first skill point, so we've given her advanced research. Now she's flying through our research. While we're in here, Senna was one that we set up to be a digger. She has an affinity for it, which means it doesn't cost her any morale, so that's a no-brainer. Give her a hard digging hat. Get to it. Great. We've been exploring all the way up to the top of the biome. We can see some stuff over here. We can see over all the way to the edge on this side of it. We've been digging down. We haven't gotten quite down, but we found our printer scepter, which I still have no idea what it does. I probably won't get to it for quite some time, but we know where it is, and that's great. And we got to the sides a little bit. I've decided on where I want to put my farm plots. So I'm going to do one up here that is going to be just like a max size farm for close up the greenhouse. That way, if I decide I want to put a farm station in there, I can. So it's 96 tiles. We're going to do one underneath that's a little bit more of a natural one because there's a lot of plants in here. And we're going to leave them there. And that way we can make it into a nature reserve too, which will be awesome. So I'm digging it out. We're getting in here to grab some extra plants and stuff that are in here. We need everything we can get right now for food until we get something set up. We've dug out some other ones too. The overgrow vine and figs are up here. I need to get critter ranching so I can move these guys up. I want to get them in a room with that so they can eat so that we don't lose them. They live for a very long time though, so I'm not super worried about it. And there's other ones that are still kind of off in a wild place. So I'm pretty sure they'll lay an egg before we lose them, and they'll just stay there as long as I don't go in there. So I'm not worried about it. I've been watching the Mimica and seeing how they work a little bit. I think I have the grasp of it now. And they also, when they're done, they turn into mimolette. So I want to get set up so we can use those. I need to get a mess hall and I need to get a kitchen. There's so many things you need to do at the start. But I'm doing best I can do to get it done. So this room currently is 111 tiles. But I was going to put a door here. That's like right on the other side of these wild plants. Because these two are just... the sweet corn stalk could go in there too. But I'm going to just take that one out. And the other plant is just snack fruit. So we'll end up having a bunch of plants in here that are wild. And then we'll put some farmed ones in as well. And I thought this research portal we could keep because it just kind of looks cool. We'll get to activating that soon too. Lots of things, like I said. But that's the next step. We're gonna get this, now that we have the research done, we can start putting some farm tiles in. I'm gonna put them across here and get a farm set up so we can get the stuff planting. I'm gonna try to do this one the whole way across and only make one of these a Mimica. And see if that one Mimica can handle all of those sweet corns. If they can't, then we'll know how many they can keep up with. So we'll get those put in. We'll get that set up, clean things up a little bit, and then we'll do down here for this one. Instead of putting them in every tile, we're just going to put them in the ones that don't already have plants. So like here, here, and here. And then we'll go across like this, and I gotta look and see if those have plants or not. Actually, you know what? I wanna cancel these two. I just realized at some point I might want to put a greenhouse in here. And to do that, I'm gonna need spaces for it. So let's get that put in a while. I'm also gonna want, in this one, I want to be able to put a park sign. So we'll leave a space like that. So that will be cool. And then we can put this here. This has a bud growing on it. I want to make sure I don't have any other plants in these spots that I'm digging up. I want to keep as many wild plants as I can. So this one has nothing, this one has nothing, and these two do. So we want to put farm tile here and here. So we'll get those all built, and we'll get plants planted in them, and we'll just start messing around with them, see how they work. At the very least, while we're experimenting, we'll get some food coming in. Let's check out our colony achievement. Probably just the standard ones. Yeah, outdoor renovations, bed and bath. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm not worried about the achievements this time, but, when they come in, it's always cool to see. And let's check out our printable, because we may bring in a new person. With these three, I don't think I am going to. I don't really want bottomless stomach on this one. The only time I ever use bottomless stomach is if I'm on a carnivore run and I need somebody that can eat a lot of food fast, because I can overcome it later. I don't want it right now. I don't have food. You guys stay away, and I never take noodle arms. The decreased strength and decreased carrying capacity makes them useless to me. I know you can overcome it later in the game. You just build past it, but no thanks. So hey, we got a pink unitard. Let's give it to somebody. Lindsay's been doing a lot of hard work for us here, doing research. I think we can reward her with a pink unitard. And Ren also got a skill point now, and he is our operator. So let's give it to him. He has an affinity for it. Get him a helmet. Cool. We're all set. We're going to let people keep building things. We'll get the farms up and running, and then we'll check back in on them. I still need some more progress here, but we have some starter stuff going on in our farm here. One on the bottom, I'm filling up first, because up here I still have to wait a few more cycles for the Mimica bud to hatch, I guess is the right word. So there's no point in really putting down the sweet corn because I can't pollinate it up there yet anyway. Though I'm watching these guys and they're pretty quickly getting to the places where we need to pollinate. We'll see once they're all filled and their navigation, that kind of stuff. I'm putting in some infrastructure for cooking, even though I don't have a cook yet. That's the next person I want to get when I get the new printing pod option, if I can get one, hopefully. The smoker, I'll say one thing. I really like that they have the gas output from it goes through a pipe. For now, I'm just going to lower it down here so that the carbon already starts down below where we are. I just finished the research to get a carbon skimmer up and running. And I need to do liquid pumps. Might as well. Let's get the bathrooms going as well so I can switch over to that soon. I like getting plumbed bathrooms sooner rather than later. The outhouses are not super reliable and they're kind of a pain. So we'll get that so we can get a carbon skimmer set up somewhere down here so that this carbon dioxide doesn't get clogging our base. I don't think this makes a lot anyway. It's not a ton. But I'm also getting an electric grill rail set up. So as soon as I have a cook, I can cook the, what are they called? The things that these guys drop. Mimolets or something? Mimolet. Yeah, there we go. We can cook these things into toasted mimolet, get some food there. The sweet corn we can smoke and get our veggie poppers going to get much more food out of them. For now, I still have enough food from our snack fruits and some figs that are around. Keep us going. I still have some more to harvest. So this is going good. Well, the next thing I'm going to do for right now is I want to open this research portal up. I know what it's going to do because I know how the map works, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to send somebody up there to unlock this portal. That way we can see what happens. All right. Research portal has been unlocked. Let's take a look at it. Eureka! We've decrypted the research portal's final transmission. New buildings have become available. Oh, that's cool. I knew that these existed. I did not know that the portal was what unlocked them. So that makes sense. It is the stuff that is relevant to the DLC. So the blast shot maker and the meteor blaster. Awesome. That is very, very menacing. Demolior. Time until impact 191.3. I'm assuming that means it's set to hit at cycle 200 because we're cycle 8.7 now. So that makes sense. And this is the area where it's going to hit. I'm so tempted to just let it hit and see what happens. But I don't think I'm going to do that. We're going to try very hard to get up there and stop it. That's going to be our goal. So the I thought there was a cinematic that would play. I must have, when I was messing around with it before, it must have played and I just didn't watch it. Can I check it out now somewhere in here? I guess not. That's a shame. So we have meteor blaster up here. We need to get set with getting some intracosmic blast shot to make that work. I guess that is probably under station. Maybe under rocket. Yep. Meteor blaster's under rocketry. Where is utilities? Oh, here it is. It was grayed out, so I didn't see it. Blast shot maker. So blast shot maker makes our stuff. We're gonna need refined metal to get it. So I guess the next thing we should do is probably get down rock crusher, because that's what we're gonna do to get some refined metal at the start here. And we'll probably need to get some power going soon too, but for now we'll be all right. We're gonna keep working on our food, and let's check out our printing pod. We have one. I need a cook. So if either of these guys are anywhere close to being a cook, we're going to take them. So the two are kind of similar. Let's take this one. I like the extra 10 strength. That means he has good carrying capacity to start, and tidying is always helpful. So Amari, you can come into the colony. We'll put you on a schedule. I think that they're all evenly filled. So the one that just closest to just starting is shift 1. You're a first shifter. Your skills, like I said, we need a cook, and we need them now. So that's your job, buddy. We're going to give you a hat. And priorities, we're going to set that as your primary task. And tidying will be your secondary task. Tidying, supplying, maybe life support. Cool. So now we can do the toasted mimolets. I'm going to let them do them all. Because we'll get more in if we need to plant one. As we have it right now, we have one of them in here. And that one we're testing to make sure to see that one is enough. Because it has a life cycle of 5 for the plant. So it should give us a Mimica, and then it should start growing again. And as soon as the Mimica dies, we should get another one. We shouldn't have any downtime. Down here should be the same, because I have 4 Mimica buds. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's one there. It's hard to see because of all the junk that I haven't cleaned up yet. So these have, the wild ones have a life cycle of 20 cycles. So I should still get to the point where they're replacing themselves as often enough that I have one in here all the time. Problem is they're probably not lined up. So like they're growing at different rates, so there will be downtime, because there'll be time when I have 3 or 4, and there'll be time when I have 0. So we may need to put a planted one in here, and we'll do that at some point. But for now, I just want to keep it going and test it. So we want to watch to see how this food goes. So far, they're doing pretty good at keeping up with harvest or pollinating. But of course, right now there's 4 of them in there, so of course they are. It's just a matter of watching what happens after. As far as this room goes, this is currently 88 tiles. So I think what I'm going to do... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... That's like it was made to be removed. This room will still be 96 tiles if I take down that layer and leave the other blocks there. That's pretty cool. I like that. So we're going to let that go, get some food from that. We get some food from up here. Now that we have a cook, we can make this. So as soon as we get more sweet corn in here, we can make some veggie poppers. I did disallow it so that they can't eat the sweet corn because I want it to go in there, because we get a lot more food. Let's take a look at it. So sweet corn stalk makes sweet corn. Sweet corn is worth 5,600 calories. We throw in some peat with it, and we get 11,450. It does take a whole cycle to make it, but it's much better quality food, and almost double, actually more than double the food for that. So it's definitely the way to go to keep our food supplies going. So we need more sweet corn get delivered there. We're also cooking up the mimolets, and we'll have that to supplement our food. All right, so we finished that research. So yeah, I'm just going to let this go for a little bit longer just to observe things, and then I think we'll check back in before the end of our episode. All right, so we got the sweet corn that we need. I think we should now have enough to run the smoker, because we have 6 kilograms in there. We need 5,600 kilograms. Yes? No? Maybe not. But we have the peat in there. We have the sweet corn in there. Yeah, I'm going to try to turn this off. And then let's turn it back on. We're going to be using... It says we only have 4,800 calories available. Why? Why do? I guess I'm a little bit short. But we want to get the smoker up and running and see that going. But that is going to give us tons of calories. Right now we only have 5 duplicates, so running that once will be enough to feed them for 2 cycles. So we only need to get it so we can cook one of those every other cycle, which is fine. So this is not like a perfect food source. But we got farm plots in place. We got the mimicas pollinating. Our research is pretty much almost done, the early stuff. And now we can just research as we need. We have a lot more to do. We don't even have the basics in. I don't have a mess hall for them to eat. They're still eating off the ground. So we have to do that. We really need to get started on figuring out how to get up here and getting things going for that. But we have 200 cycles. Well, 190 left before that meteor hits us. But I don't want to dilly-dally. We have impending doom coming our way. But, you know, we also got to focus on what is needed here in the colony. So next episode, we'll work on playing around with some more stuff. Hopefully we can get into some critter ranching so we can play around with these other dinos, which I'm really excited about. And we have a lot of other animals. We did find a sustainable water source we could get in to get that set up. I really think these wrecks are cool. I have no idea what they're doing. I guess they attack other critters, it looks like. They could be very fun to use. So, yeah, I'm very excited to do more. And I hope you guys are excited watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.